How to count macros to gain some muscle. Hey, so the only way to know if you are on the right track is tracking your food. And there's a lot that goes into that. And I want to be able to help you understand the process of counting your macros and how I do it and how I make it as simple as possible because that's the way I learn. I want something that's simple, not something that is hard to utilize, hard to understand. So I'm gonna make it as simple as possible, and let me know how I do, my dudes. So in this video, you are going to learn 4 numbers I use to figure out your maintenance level, my maintenance level. And you're going to learn on why it is important to figure out your maintenance level, which is super important, is figuring out the proper ratio with your macros for that specific goal. So that's where you're going to get about 4 tips, solid tips. Hey, I'm Andrade here to help you build a better life through all things fitness, mindset, and of course, some swag goo. Hey, if you're new to this channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And let's get right into the video. So we're gonna jump right to the computer, and I'm gonna show you these 4 numbers that you should utilize, and these numbers are gonna help you figure out your maintenance level. Number 12. So 12 describes your lifestyle, and this describes a person that has a very sedentary lifestyle, that sits at the desk for 8 hours a day, that doesn't do any form of activity, that literally is a couch potato, right? This person does not go to the gym. So if you are a 12, you're going to utilize 12, and we're going to get there to how to figure it out. But right now I'm going to just talk about the numbers. So number 12, that's the first one. And number 13. So number 13, all right, so 13, this is someone that hits a gym at least 1 to 2 times a day, that, again, their lifestyle outside of the gym is, yeah, you're sitting about part of the day, but you're up and moving around the rest of the day. It's not so sedentary. So if this is you, you're going to utilize this number. So number 14 is active. They have somewhat of a desk job, but also they move around a tad bit more. You want to think about maybe a school teacher. Yes, they're on their feet and they're sitting down. So 14, I would say, is relatively active. It's not very active yet, but it's getting close to that point. And this person likes to work out at least 3 to 4 times out of the week. So if this is you, I would utilize this number. So 15 is very active. I want you to think of a construction worker, and visualize what a construction worker day looks like. It's very active. They're on their feet the whole day, and they're doing hard, vigorous work. This requires you to have heavy lifting all the time, and they rarely have that time to sit down. So this is someone that burns a lot of calories at rest. So if this is you, someone that's on their feet 24/7, constantly moving, doesn't even have time to sit down, then 15 is the answer for you to utilize to figure out your maintenance level. And this is someone that trains at least 5-6 times a week, and just, again, very active. So then I would have to say this is probably most hard gainers too, as you guys have a very high metabolism. So you probably are 15. That makes sense. You probably are active, but your metabolism acts like someone that has a construction job. So you got to make sure you are eating a lot of calories. So guys, we're going to go right into how to figure out. our maintenance level by utilizing one of these numbers, and I'm going to utilize myself as an example just so you could understand how we utilize this. So you're going to see right here, once you determine your number that best represents your lifestyle, you're going to use that number and multiply it by your current weight that you are now. So if you know your weight, make sure you do weigh yourself in the morning, because your weight is different in the morning than in the middle of the day or at the end of the day. How to find your maintenance level? So me, I'm very active. I'm 15. I'm on my feet every day. I'm moving around weights. I'm a personal trainer, so I don't have that time to sit down. So I'm going to utilize number 15, and that's going to determine my calories. So you're going to see right here my weight is 174 pounds, and what I did was I did 174 times 15. That gave me my maintenance calories, what my body burns at rest. So I'm at 2,600, and again, the number's not going to be perfect when you multiply that number by your weight. It's not going to be perfect, so make it even, and then we're going to figure out our macros. So macros, your protein, carbs, and our fats. Again, your macros, I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of blurry, or light, there's a lot of light on there. So your macros should equal 100%. So for me personally, I do protein. 35% of my diet is coming from protein. 40% of my diet is coming from carbs, and 25% of my diet is coming from fats. So that's for me. That's not for you to use. That's for me. But again, this is just a way to set up your macros, your percentages, where they all equal 100%, which is super important. So how we do the math. So how we do the math for each macro. So this is what we're going to do. So for protein, you're going to do 0.35 times my maintenance level, 2,600. This equals, I'll bring up the calculator. Here's the calculator. So 0.35 times 26 equals 910 calories. So what we need to know is 1 gram of protein 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. So I'm going to divide that. So 910 divided by 4. So roughly, that's my protein intake. You're looking at about 225 grams of protein, 230 grams of protein. It's not going to be perfect. If you could hit that range, you're going to be golden. So same thing again for carbs. We're going to do we're going to do 0.4 times maintenance level again. And this is going to come out as 0.4 times 260. Again, 1,000. You're looking at 1,000 calories right there divided by 4. Again, because 1 gram of carbs equals 4 calories equals 260. So looking at about 260 grams of carbs. So this is carbs, proteins. So for fats, again, fats 25%, so 0.25, always decimal form, times 26. So again, math for that. Guys, so one gram of fat equals 9 calories, so the fats will add up. So 650 calories from fat. Now I'm going to divide that by 72. So I'm going to round that to, I'm going to go 70 through 75 grams fats. And then I'm going to write on the side here for you guys. So 1 gram equals 4 cals. 1 gram equals 4 cals again. And 1 gram of fat equals 9 cals. So that's how you do the math to figure out your maintenance level. It's super important. I'm telling you, it's as legit as possible. if you're honest with yourself on your lifestyle. And that's going to determine your maintenance level. Be honest with yourself, and it's not going to be perfect, but you have to start from somewhere. And once you figure out your starting point, then you could determine, all right, what's my goal? Is it building muscle, or is it burning fat? You have to determine your goal. All right, so you just figured out your maintenance level. You just did the math. You figured out that number that best represents your lifestyle. And once you figured that out, you got that caloric intake number. That's going to be your base. And this is what your body burns at rest, dictating or based on your lifestyle that it is right now. So this is super important. We need a starting point to go into that direction. Whatever your goal is, you want to determine that right away. So this is before you go into a caloric deficit or a caloric surplus. You want to make sure that this number that you got from doing that math is the number you're going to start with. And you want to make sure that you, when you do start, it's normal to see your weight fluctuate up and down. Personally, I like to do something when I start something like this. I like to do it for at least 2 weeks. And I keep concise measurements, like a log of my weight each week for that 2-week period. I measure my weight, weigh myself every day, and see if that number stays the same or if it fluctuates back and forth, but it's still relatively that same number. So that's telling me, all right, I believe I found my maintenance level. But if your weight goes from like 185 pounds to like 180 pounds within 2 weeks, okay, you're in a slight caloric deficit. So you want to make sure you increase your food, because losing that amount of weight in that short amount of time is not healthy. So you want to make sure that you increase your food. So knowing your maintenance level is going to be a key ingredient to getting to that point you want to get to. If you don't know your maintenance level, you're not going to get to that point you want to get to. Just as simple as that. You don't know it and you try to do something based on what someone else is doing, it's not going to work for you. You got to do what works for you, and starting off like this is the best bet for you. So once you do find it, adjust accordingly. Again, it goes based on your goal. If your goal is to increase muscle or burn fat, then you got to adjust accordingly to that. A big thing I like to stick to is a 200 or 300 calorie increase or decrease, depending on your goal. Again, you want to make sure you be really clear on what you're trying to do. Personally, for the first time, this is how I did do it. When I first wanted to increase my food, I didn't start at my maintenance level and increase it. I started at my maintenance level, and I dieted down for a good amount of time. I think I did it for 2 to 3 months. Got my metabolism super fast, and then I reverse dieted and increased my calories. So when I got to that 3,000 calorie limit, a little over that, I was able to take everything down. I was able to finish everything. If you're not used to dieting, bulking right away might be hard for you, especially if you're eating good quality, whole, dense food. It's easy to get calories in from processed foods and from refined foods, but from whole quality foods, it's hard. It's a lot harder because you stay full longer. But remember that when you're eating good quality food, you're going to be putting on them gains a lot easier. So that's it for your maintenance level. Once you figure that out, then you determine your goal. All right, my dudes, we're about at the end of the video. And so far, if you like this video, make sure you do leave a thumbs up, leave a comment below. Tell me what you want to see in the next video. And I do post weekly videos on all the things that I like to utilize to get me to my fitness goals faster. So make sure you do hit that subscribe button. You'd be helping me out a lot as a small YouTuber. I really want to grow my channel, so with your help, dude, you'll be helping a brother out. So guys, last tip is understanding a macro ratio. So Macros again are your protein, your carbs, and your fats. You want them to come out to at least or not at least, that you want them to come to 100%. If not, then you got to make sure they come out to 100%. So there's no perfect ratio, but you got to figure out the ratios that work for you. And I'm going to tell you the recommended ratios for each macro. So for protein, recommended ratio, it should be between 10 to 35% of your diet should come from protein. Carbs should come between 40 to 60% of your diet should come from carbs. And fats in your diet ratio should be at least 20 to 35%. So that's what your body requires of fats. For me personally, I don't go over 25 because I know I don't do well with a high fat diet. So you need to experience that. You need to experience with these different ratios. If you don't, how do you know what's going to work for you and your body type? Just because you take longer to put on muscle doesn't mean that your macros ratio is going to be just like mine. Yours is going to be different. We're all different. So that's the cool thing about that. Once you figure that out, it's so fun. From if you want to hit certain goals, you already know what ratios you're working with. Now you just got to play with your food. So again, for your ratios, it's important. Like, I remember I was following the one that Arnold Schwarzenegger used. My dude Arnold used a 40-40-20 macro split. So 40% of his diet's protein, 40% of his diet's carbs, and 20% of his diet is fat. That was his macro split. I did utilize it for a bit, but I felt like I was eating too much protein. So I cut down to 35%, and actually it's been working for me. So I'm utilizing that, and my carbs are staying relatively high based on my goal again. Fats 25%, that's perfect, that's good for me. So you got to figure it out. If you do not figure these things out, how do we know what's going to work for you? Utilize this. If you don't do it, then obviously these goals aren't being taken seriously by you. Alright, so we just came to the end of the video. Make sure you do leave a like, subscribe, comment. Remember this: you always want to track your food. You want to know your ratios for your macros. You want to know your maintenance level and how to get to that maintenance level. We use those 4 numbers. I hope you took notes on that. Those numbers were important to figure out your maintenance level. Understand how to use MyFitnessPal. Super easy. It's free. You don't have to pay for the paid version, but utilize the free version. Again, I'm Nick Andrade, here to help you build a better life through all things fitness, mindset, and of course some swagoo, my dudes. You guys have a great one. Thank you again for watching. It means a lot to me. I hope you keep killing those goals, and remember, tune in next week and checking out one of my newer videos coming out. I don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be something that's going to help you get to that point faster.